Hi, my friends. It's Suzanne here. Welcome to this week's episode of Let's Tap, the show where I bring you one effortless technique that can bring you many life-changing shifts in your life. So, this show is on the Akashic Academy. It is every Monday at 9 p.m. It's called Let's Tap. I'm Suzanne Gundersen. I'm a holistic stress relief mentor, and I help people to relieve anxiety, chronic stress, and build confidence. That way they can improve their health, their relationships, and get into alignment with who they truly are. Tonight's topic is going to be around clearing chronic stress. So we're going to have a little bit of a conversation about stress tonight. And also we're going to have a little bit of a crash course on tapping. So if you're new to tapping, welcome. It's a really simple, effortless technique that you can learn. It's a self-use acupressure technique. If you've been around for a while, welcome back. If you're new to the show and you still know and you're aware of tapping, welcome. My approach to tapping is a little bit different than EFT or some of the other protocols that are out there. I really go right to the root of what's going on to create your stress and struggle. That way you can get results faster. So I want to just say hi to everyone that's joined us so far. Hi, Carla. Happy birthday, Carla. By the way, today's Carla's birthday. I do know that. Teresa Warren is here. Hello, Teresa, and Zeta Pax. So thanks, everyone, for being here. Tonight's show is Let's Tap. It's the weekly show where I come on and share about energy tapping. So what is energy tapping? It is a technique that helps us to relieve and shift our experience of stress. And so what is our experience of stress? Our experience of stress come in the form of how we think and the memories that we hold, and then also how the body experiences those thoughts and those memories. You see, when you think, the body feels. That's what the mind-body connection is about. And when you're tapping, you're literally using your fingertips to tap on energy points of the body. And what that does is it helps create a disruption between that connection of the mind-body, almost saying, hey, don't get stuck there. Keep that energy moving. Keep it going. Keep it flowing. So tapping has many points all over the body because we've got rivers of energy that flow in our body called meridians. And those meridians run through the organs of the body, and they each produce a sensation that we feel that we then label from happy to sad. And when you're tapping on these points, you're literally engaging, you're using the energy system to help stimulate that flow of energy. The energy body wants to constantly be in motion. We're energy in motion. And when we feel unwell, stressed, if we have any kind of chronic stress symptom, it's because our energy is stuck in our body. And how it gets stuck is through the attachments of our connections, of the meaning that we've given the stories in our life, of who we think we are. We're just a walking belief system of a bunch of memories that we've had in our life and ones that we almost were kind of born with, become kind of pre-installed with some of them as well. Meaning you have the same eye color as your family. Do you always have the same symptoms of things that you run into in your family? That would be more of like your genetics, your imprint of your genetics. But tapping is this amazing, powerful tool that helps you to reprogram your stress, revitalize your energy, and reclaim your power. It is a tool that helps you really get into your subconscious belief system and start to literally take a backhoe and dig those out and be able to shift them and transform them and to be able to install the programs that you want for what you are desiring in your conscious beliefs and your conscious desires. So you want your consciousness to be able to match your subconsciousness. So we have to start first with the evidence of what we're having as life experience that's not in line with our conscious desires. So tonight's topic is about chronic stress. So let's talk a little bit about stress. So what is stress? Stress is the body's reaction to perception. And that really is your perception. Everyone's perception is unique to them. There's no right or no wrong. It's just your unique perception. We have little nerves all over our body called neuroceptors. And they're constantly looking out. Am I safe or am I not safe? And they are automatically taking care of you. You don't need to do anything in the conscious mind. Your autonomic nervous system is reacting and responding for your survival. And it goes into a response to be able to keep you alive. And that's called the body's stress response. And there's a couple different kinds of stress that we can experience throughout the day. First is acute stress, and that's the kind of stress where you're like, oh, I can't find my keys, where's my shoes, where did I park my car in the parking lot, I can't remember, what happened to this, oh, I was supposed to call that person back. That's acute stress. It happens super fast, and then as soon as you find that thing that you lost, or you made it through, someone may be cutting you off, and then you're like, you made it through, it ends very quickly. So it comes in fast and it ends fast, and that's acute stress. And then there's the kind of chronic stress that's more prolonged and ongoing. That's stuff like when you go to work and your boss is really critical, or you have, coworkers that you don't like, or you're in a relationship with someone that you've had a conflict with. Maybe it's gone on a week, a month, a year, a decade, and it has just kept going. Or maybe you've got financial stress where every month it just seems to be like you're not getting ahead of a photo financially. Or maybe you just have a conflict with yourself in terms of some patterns and programs and, coping styles that you're just not happy with, that just don't solve themselves in a day. And those are things that we would call chronic stress. And the body still has the same stress response as if it was, I can't find my keys, or somebody cut me off, or someone yelled at me at the store and then I left. The body goes into a stress response to be able to protect us. And that in that protection, we stay in that pattern of, is it resolved yet? Is it resolved yet? So the body never has a chance to recover. And we end up living in that state of chronic stress. And with that, our body systems are stuck in a stress response. And then our mind starts to come up with creative, imaginative storylines that keep us hooked there. And then sometimes we tell our friends about it. And then we get them invested in it. And the next thing you know, we've had a problem that's gone on a week, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months, a year. So if you have any kind of chronic stress symptoms, then pop them in the chat and let me know what they are. They could be anything from mental issues like ADD, ADHD. They could be emotional issues like anxiety. They could be in depression. They could be physical issues like autoimmune issues. They could be migraine issues. You could have a whole list of things that you might present as your chronic stress. And you might even notice, oh, in my family, we always get migraines. In my family, we always have this problem. So share with me what's going on in your life right now. What's stressful for you? What is creating chronic issues in your life where you're just not able to overcome them? What are some of your symptoms? And I'm going to go over and see who's joined us and say hi to some folks. Jennifer McWilliams is here. Hi, Jennifer McWilliams. Amy's here. Tony's here. Michelle is here from Boulder, Colorado. Hello, Michelle. Alyssa joined. Lynn Marie is here. Sherilyn. Thank you, everyone, for sharing and being here. So tonight's show is Let's Tap. So we're going to get to it. So let's do a little tapping on chronic stress. But before we get started, I want to share with you the tapping points. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're new to tapping, welcome. It's really simple. If you've been around the block a couple of times, then just follow along. I use fewer number of points than some of the traditional EFT protocols because I like to use the ones that are more associated with the fight or flight response, which is what we're talking about tonight with the chronic stress. So just to share with you and practice, let's everybody go through the tapping points together. So I would invite you to take two fingers, either hand, it doesn't matter, and just start tapping between your eyes. And you want to get a nice bounce. If you grew your eyebrows together right here, that's the first point. Just get a nice bounce where you can actually hear the patting of your fingers on your skin. And then take those same two fingers right here on the side of the eye. Get a nice patting sound there. And on the top of your cheekbone right here. And then take all four fingers and get a nice bounce across both your collarbones. And then you're going to take one hand and squeeze the opposite wrist a couple times. Get a nice squeeze there. And you want to make sure to breathe. Our energy is always wanting to be in motion, is always wanting to flow. And when we have stress going on in our life, we can get stuck and contracted. And so tonight we're going to be helping the body loosen up from that contraction response, helping it process and resolve it, and then be able to settle into more of a place of peace and calm. So how we go about doing that? Well, I teach tapping in 4 easy steps. Step number 1 is to go to what you know and how you know that bothers you. What is your chronic stress? Is it migraines that you have every day? Is it a critical boss that you go into work and you hear them just berating you? Is it a relationship that you're codependent and stuck in and you don't know a way out of? Is it a divorce that you're going through, a divorce transition, and you've lost your identity and you're just not recovering from it as quickly? Is it some other type of loss, a pet, a family member? Maybe you're just estranged from a friend. These are chronic type of stresses in our life. I mean, granted, we live in a very overstimulated, very overwhelming universe. We're being bombarded all day long with information, and we're already up to our eyeballs in stress. So when we have things that are going on in our life that are chronic, they just compound that stress even more, which really wears on the body. And when the body holds on to that emotional imprint, and the body holds on to that intensity, and the body holds on to the meaning that we've given it, because the mind is that thought processor that's constantly communicating and sending those signals to the body. And the body's reacting with those emotions and those sensations. So tapping helps us to reprogram all of that. So step number 1 of tapping is notice what bothers you and how it bothers you. So I invite you right now to notice whatever stress you might have in your life. If you have a chronic stress, notice the story of that chronic stress. What's the experience of it? How do you feel it in your body? What's the intensity of it? What are the symptoms that you have? Just notice it. That's always step number 1 of tapping. And then step number 2 is on a scale of 0 to 10, give it an intensity number. You said, oh, Suzanne, I'm thinking about this storyline of, what happens every day when I go to work, or this relationship conflict that I have. And when I feel it, I always feel like I get out of breath, or my chest starts to tighten, or I feel sick to my stomach, or I feel tension in my mind, in my head, and I think these thoughts. Aim at all of that and give it an intensity number. And try and find something that's higher than a 6. And then step number 3 is go to the part that stands out the most. It's the part where you're like, oh, this is the part that really gets me. It's the part where they said that thing, they did that thing, or I had this experience, and I just know that when I think about my stress, this is the part that really just doesn't fit with me, doesn't sit well. And the reason why we have to do that is because we want to get as close to the root as possible. And so we have to press on the pain just a little bit. So go to that place where you're like, oh, I don't really want to go there. Go there. We're going to safely go there together, and we're going to be tapping, which is step number 4. So if you're joining us now, step number 1, notice what bothers you and how it bothers you. What do you have as chronic stress? Step number 2, give it an intensity number on a scale of 0 to 10. Step number 3, go press on the pain a little bit. Go to that part, that worst part, that part that stands out the most. What it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like. And then step number 4 is we're going to tap. So remember the tapping points we went through. So I invite you right now, aim at that thing that's bothering you. Give it an intensity number. Go to the worst part of it. Make it something higher than a 6. And when you're there, start tapping between your eyes. And repeat out loud after me. And say, this chronic stress pattern, this story, it's my reality. All the symptoms of it, all the intensity of it, how my body responds to this stress. And then tap on the side of the eye, this chronic stress pattern. My nervous system is trying to save my life. And this is how it reacts. It reacts with these symptoms. Every body system responding to keep me alive. This stress, it hasn't resolved. It's been stuck in my body. Maybe the storyline hasn't resolved. Maybe I don't know how to resolve it. Maybe it's a family problem I inherited, and I do it just like them. All the reasons I'm stuck in this chronic stress response. all the intensity of that, all the stories that contributed to my chronic stress, how my body reacts to these stressful things. And then tap on your collarbones. This chronic stress pattern, it's my pattern. This is how my body's reacting. That first moment in time that I first experienced that kind of stress and what it meant to me and how my body reacted and how I've attached to it and all the meaning I've given to it. I'm willing right now, today, to resolve it, to complete the stress response in my body, help my nervous system settle down. All the symptoms of my chronic stress, my nervous system and its reaction, it's being stuck there. I untie it, untangle it, help it complete, help it resolve. All the meaning of the storylines that have created this chronic stress, I'm willing to let them go, and everyone that's involved with them. It's safe to let it go. I deserve to let it go. I'm willing to let it go. This pattern of chronic stress in my body, I'm just calming it down, settling it down. I give my body permission to recover now, letting go of these symptoms, all the intensity, how I'm experiencing it, when I experience it, who triggers it, whoever I've told, I let the whole thing go. I deserve to let it go because I deserve to recover. My body deserves peace. So right now, in this moment, I'm willing to let it go. And then take one hand and squeeze the opposite wrist a couple times. Take a nice, easy breath. Blow it out. Say the word clear. Then I invite you to go to someplace in your mind, someplace that makes you feel like you're floating in a pool or enjoying a nice warm bathtub. Something that just is very soothing and relaxing. Maybe just being in your comfortable bed with your favorite pillow. Whatever it is, go to that nice, comfortable, soft place. And when you're there enjoying it, make it a 10. Make it bright and beautiful and make it sound wonderful. Make it feel soft and easy. And when you're there, tap between your eyes and say, it's safe to recover now. So happy to be safe. So happy to recover. It always works out when you let it go. This wonderful, safe, soft place is inside of me, where all my body systems are calmed down. I give this gift to myself, and I have this ability inside of me. I can have it anytime I want. It's in my body. It's my experience, and it feels safe and soft, and it's all mine. And then take your hand and squeeze the opposite wrist and take a nice breath and blow it out and say the word peace. Then I invite you to go back to the thing that was bothering you before, that was triggering your chronic stress, whatever your symptoms were. And notice what intensity number you have now. So share with me in the chat, what number were you to start with and what are you now? I'm going to say hi to some other folks that have joined, and I want to hopefully read some numbers and see where everybody's at. Hi, Jess Christensen. Lynette is here from Boston. Hey, Lynette. Gerald is here. Gerald says he has anxiety when he meets new clients every day. That would be a chronic stress for sure, Gerald. Charlene says, high anxiety, abandonment, narcissistic mom, along with all kinds of abuse from childhood on. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that's been your experience. Sadly, that's just so common these days, to have people be awakened to all of that type of dysfunction. Rachel's here. It does take away pain. Absolutely, we can focus on pain. Gerald is from the Charleston, South Carolina, at the edge of America. Jennifer says she breaks out in hives when her daughter and boyfriend talk to me or are planning on seeing me. That would definitely be a stress response in the body, Jennifer. Susanna is here from Chi-Town. Hello, welcome. Charlene says she bites down so hard. Yeah. So that's definitely the body just kind of clenching down in its response. And the tapping that I went through was very, very general because I can't list every possible body system response. But yeah, insert your own when you're doing your own tapping. Gerald says he can't get out of the car when he pulls in the driveway of a new client. I make up excuses why they won't open the door and I drive away. Sorry to hear that's your experience. Yeah, that's definitely something that tapping can help you out with, Gerald. Dallas here says, good evening. So we've got some numbers. Here we go. So Amy said that she was at an 8 and now she's at a 4. That's amazing. And Tanya says 8 to a 2. Tony says 6 to a 1. Jennifer 10 to a 4. Carolyn 9 to 5. Gerald 10 to 4. Susanna 9 to 8. Now, Susanna, 9 to an 8 might mean that you've got to get a little bit more specific at pressing on that pain and also be willing and persistent to keep up with it, because some things have a lot of intensity and momentum behind them and require a couple of rounds of tapping. So just keep going with it, Susanna. Lynette says from 6 to a 2. Lynn Marie says from a 6 to a 3. Awesome. Those are all amazing numbers. And that was just in a few minutes. Imagine if you could have this be a new permanent way of feeling about your chronic stress. And that's why I love sharing about tapping, because it is a self-use acupressure technique that you can use in the moment of your being triggered about your chronic stress. So in the description box of this video, I have a couple of links in there. One is to get on my calendar for 30 minutes. If you want to personalize your tapping experience and jumpstart your relief of chronic stress, get on my calendar. I'm happy to share with you exactly how to get it going, so we can keep the momentum going of all this relief that you've experienced tonight and continue to get really into the specifics of the intuitive truth behind your stress, be able to transform that at its root and get you the results faster. That way, Gerald, maybe you're not going to be afraid to get out of the car. And someone else said that they were biting down. You won't be biting down anymore. So all of these physical symptoms that you have in your chronic stress are going to be able to start to recover, release, and give you your energy back. You know, it's just so exhausting. The body gets so fatigued in keeping up a stress response. We're not meant to live in chronic stress. It really, really wears down the body. So when we go to your chronic stress and how you have it as a storyline in your life and how you have it as symptoms specific in your body, whether they're, cardiovascular system, respiratory system, endocrine system, musculoskeletal system, any other body system that is affected by your chronic stress, whatever your specific symptoms are, that would be the exact tapping content that you would use in order to be able to help yourself unlock that pattern and program and be able to help yourself be relieved and recover from those stress symptoms. So as I mentioned, there is a link in the description box to get on my calendar for 30 minutes. Also, there's a link in the description box to join my group. I have a private group on Facebook called the Empowered Tapping Revolution, where I do video like this every single day. So you're invited to join the group. It's a free group. Just join up and you'll get more videos like this, as well as I provide a lot of support and strategies to be able to help you, build connection to your inner wisdom and resiliency for all of life's stresses. So tonight's topic just happened to be about clearing chronic stress. And as we talked about, there's different types of stresses. There's acute stress, there's chronic stress, and there's also very traumatic stress. And that could be if you have PTSD or if you have some other type of really very intense type of a stress in your life. And that could be a broken heart or grief and loss. It could be something that is just extremely intense for you. Maybe you witnessed something that was very horrible and you just have kept that emotional imprint in your body. Tapping can really help you get under the covers with it. That way we can get right at the root of it and start to transform it. So I'm so happy you all each had some relief in some of the shifts that you experienced tonight. And that was just in a few minutes, and that was really, really general tapping. So again, I bet you get on my calendar for 30 minutes and we can get really into the specifics of what's got you experiencing chronic stress and be able to start unravel that for you in a safe way that gives you back your energy, gives you back your power. That way you can direct your consciousness in a direction that really will give you the result that you want. Maybe it's freedom from a physical disease. Maybe it's freedom from an emotional stress. Maybe it's freedom from a mental, confusion that you've been experiencing. Tapping is that technique that really helps you to reprogram all of that. Because as I mentioned, we are just a walking belief system that's living in our body, in the subconscious body. And we are just a vibration, a magnet of those subconscious beliefs and stories. So even, with your best conscious intention, you could walk out of the house every day and say, I'm going to have this happen for me today. Whatever your strongest emotional vibration is what you're going to attract to you. And so if that's giving you a result that is showing up in your life as a chronic stress symptom because of something that happens to you every day over and over and over and is prolonged, we can use tapping to be able to get to the specifics, uncover it, and be able to transform it. Let me read some more comments here. I've been watching a couple more numbers come through. I think I saw, let's see. Tanya said she was having a chronic neck and solar plexus pain. It was an 8 and now less than a 2. Wow, that's brilliant, Tanya. And that was just in a few minutes. Lynette asks a great question. How is tapping compared to meditation? Is it pressure points and tapping? So Lynette, great question. So meditation and tapping are, I would say, cousins. We could put it that way. When we are distracted from being able to meditate, it's because we have things that either in our mind or our mind and our body are dragging us into the past or into the future, and we can't stay present. Meditation is most effective when we can stay present in the now. I like to, when I meditate, I listen to a fan in my room or an air conditioner or some type of a ventilation system that I can just, it's like white noise that helps me stay present. But a lot of people who have stress, they're often running off in their monkey mind and aren't able to really be effective in their meditation. So tapping helps them to be able to disrupt the patterns that are distracting them from keeping present, which is what makes meditation effective, is when you can stay present and come back to that present moment. So I'd say they're cousins, meditation and tapping. Tapping helps you be able to get to the present moment. So if you are highly distracted by your chronic stress symptoms or anything that's bothering you in your life and you just notice where your mind wanders to, it's that storyline, it's that person, it's what they did, what they said, it's that thing I'm worried about, how's this going to happen? You can't stay present in the now, and you're either in the past or in the future. Tapping can help you break your trance and your connection to that and come back to the present. And that's why a lot of you right now are experiencing lower numbers in your after your first round of tapping. Because what that does is it really helps to calm the mind, which settles the thoughts, calms the body, which settles the nervous system. And when you're calm and present, you have more ability to stay present in the meditation. And it is in the now. We know that all of the power that we have exists in the now. But we don't often spend time in the now because we're constantly being dragged into the past or the future. So Lynette, thank you for asking that question. Gerald said he wishes I could memorize the word I say. Gerald, you know what? I am completely intuitive and it is different for me every time. It's not a script that I even write. It just kind of comes out of me naturally. Hi, Christy Warnick. Thanks for being here. Tanya said she had 4 NDEs in less than 4 years. I'm not sure what NDEs stand for, Tanya, if you want to share with me. Tony asks, is tapping good after or before a healing session with higher spirits? Tony, tapping is good anytime you are having an issue or a struggle, and being able to stay present and able in getting out of what I call the tornado. I mean, life is very overwhelming and stressful, and we can get caught up in that. And we get caught up in the momentum of it. We get caught up in the meaning of it. We get caught up in our body's reaction and our body systems into it. And so tapping can really help us be able to stay present. So if before or after you're having a healing session with your higher spirits, if you want to make sure you're staying present and grounded, tapping is brilliant to help you. Blanca gives me a big thumbs up. Thanks, Blanca. Awesome. So as I mentioned, this show is called Let's Tap. It's every Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time at the Akashic Academy. I'm so excited that you've all joined me tonight to share in the topic about clearing chronic stress. If you're interested to have more tapping in your life, come over and join my group, The Empowered Tapping Revolution. The link is in the description box of this video. And if you have something going on that's really got you stressing and struggling, and you want some help with personalizing your tapping, learning what words to use to make your tapping effective, to unlock those patterns and programs living in your subconscious, be able to set yourself free to get the life that you truly want, and the relationships you want, and the body health that you want, and the emotional health, the mental health. You want to get into alignment with who you truly are and be able to be present with yourself in an authentic way. Get on my calendar. I'm happy to help show you the way. So until then, I will see you on the next video, and thank you all for being here. Good night, everyone.